I'm having a look at Forever Skies, a first-person post-apocalyptic survival game where you return to the Earth after it's been ravaged from an ecological disaster. You then fly and customize your airship, all the while scavenging resources to survive. I'll start by giving a brief overview of the game, where it is development-wise and what my thoughts are, and I'll then follow that up with some gameplay and maybe a bit of a let's play. So feel free to watch as much or as little as you like of that playthrough. I started playing Forever Skies when it released as a demo, and you can pretty much only play for an hour just to see the mechanics of the game. You find your airship, scan some items and learn their composition, as well as crafting and upgrading your ship so that you can fly through the skies. You then get a view of the ravaged world that is now Earth. The main draw card for me was the concept of having to deal with diseases and viruses. And through the demo and the first early access release, it was actually quite limited, where you only got 1 or 2 viruses to deal with, like photophobia, and when once contracted you could no longer look into the sun, but you would find some lecithin and that would allow you to cure it. The early access release provided a longer demo style experience, approximately 15 hours worth of content where you could visit various spires and towers that would stick above the dust cloud that covers the surface. As you progressed and learned all that was implemented, collecting components and food to expand your airship into a livable space, this would then lead you to an elevator shaft, giving you the almost alien-like experience of the mutations that have occurred on the surface in the toxic clouds that encompass it. From here, the latest release is where I'm making this video, the Viral Evolution Update. Many more viral infections were added with multiple new spire types. This extra content and the expansion of the viruses available really allowed me to see where it was going and give me a glimpse of what drew me into the game in the first place. Dealing with the different viruses can be simple or challenging, either waiting for the virus to end and dealing with the consequences, or finding the relevant cure to research and produce. At this stage, I did find it quite interesting, but I would also love to see this expanded even more as the game is fleshed out. Rather than single ingredient recipes, finding multiple resources and combining them in a very science-like fashion would really lift the experience that is already there. With this, I would also love to see the lore expanded, almost in a similar fashion to games like Subnautica, where as you follow the clues, you unlock information and the stories of those who came before you, either through audio or visuals, really flesh out the lore of the world. Rather than just finding a datapad to read, really link things together in a meaningful way, or a story that unfolds before you. It's safe to say, much like many of the games before this one, it's already a good game, and it has lots of potential to be even more. So from here, thanks for listening in and enjoy the gameplay as I try and push things to where the story currently concludes in the Viral Evolution Update. Alright, we're in the game. Let's try and smash this out, and I'll give my impressions about a few of the features that we actually have already, and we'll check out this virus update. So we're here, we're on the planet. It's covered in a thick layer of dust, which is quite poisonous to everything and everyone. Albeit, you know, down there is actually a mutated environment which we'll eventually be able to check out. So, yeah. Survival games, wander around, pick things up that are available. There are a bunch of other things which I can't interact with yet, but over time you'll be able to. We have a locked door, so obviously follow the clues. We've got a cable and a computer which is not online. We need to find a solid state battery. Alright, pick up a few more things. There's blue data pads which represent lore and clues, so you can pick them up and read them. Other than that, you do find orange ones in other places, and the orange ones actually have craftable items that you can learn as blueprints. But this is the introductory area, so we're probably not going to be getting any of that. Just making sure I don't miss a thing here. There we go, I did miss something. Things like machine parts, later on you get electrical components and things like that. They become very useful to find them and pick them up because you use tons of them, and if you don't, well, you can make them from the raw materials, but you end up going through raw materials like crazy, so grab them whenever you can find them. Right, we need to satisfy our hunger, so we give ourselves a photophobia virus. We grab a second sunmelon, we might be able to cook that later. And we have our solid state battery. All beacons, and there would have been a light up there that was flashing. All these beacons have a battery, and you tend to want to try and grab them early on and get every single one of them. So what is photophobia? Photophobia is that you can't actually stare into the sun without taking damage. So that's basically what's going on. To fix that, we need some lecithin, and we can get that from catching the various dust moths. it's a bit of a tongue twister, dust moths, which are in the game. You basically use a fishing line, put it down into the dust, and you can catch creatures to eat. And it will help solve the photophobia virus, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Let's try and get this tutorial section out of the way. Alright, and here's our airship. This is our main mode of transport for the rest of the game, but it's not ready to go. It doesn't have an engine, and we don't have fuel. But there's the fishing line I was talking about. We also have to find a lure. That's... well, there's one there. Bingo. Alright, now we can go and cure our virus. Dirty water that we can purify. You obviously don't want to drink it directly, but we don't really need that right now. We'll grab this transformer, little blurb on the airship, and our fabricator. This is the other crucial part. With the fabricator we can start crafting anything that we have a blueprint for, and over time we'll learn stuff. Actually, hidden behind there is actually a research module. But for now, let's get this lure in, lower that down, catch ourselves something. We'll start to condense some water, and we need to build some things. I guess we need the deck extractor.
Printing completed.
Done. We'll just plonk it kind of in the middle. That will allow us to grab some materials. And this thing has no, like a lot of the things in the game have a usage bar, or a battery life and things like that, which will run out and you'll need to replace. The deck extractor is the exception to that. It just does not have, it's unlimited use basically. Right, take the dust lettuce rather than consuming it directly, and have a look what's going on. You can see here that I'll lose immunity, I'll gain food, and I'll gain health. Now, we're going to do this because this should contain lecithin, and we can see that my photophobia virus is gone. But down the bottom left, a chunk of the blue outer circle here disappeared, and that was the immunity. So this blue circle represents my overall health in terms of my immunity. I should say, yeah, just overall immunity. Whereas these bars with the energy, the health, the food, and the water represents your overall health. And so these lines with a little flashing triangle at the top there, that's increasing my immunity because I'm in a healthy state. And as these drop down, as soon as you get 2 in the orange, it'll flip from growing to dropping. And as this starts decreasing over time, it will start reducing your overall immunity, and you'll become susceptible to viruses and things like that. Alright, we've got lots of water going on now. We might as well grab that glass, just because glass is quite relevant at the start. Well, that's a ton of metal. I probably need a hell of a lot more plastic. This is the other thing, like as I play through this, I tend to end up needing hundreds upon hundreds of synthetics, and so constantly harvesting them. They're very, very useful, mainly because, yeah, like machine parts aren't too bad. Electrical components you can kind of run out of, but then when you start getting into things that are a little bit more significant, like the circuit boards and things like that, those require a lot of different parts, and you run out of them, and then you start burning through your base resources. Alright, so this is a research module. We need this for learning our blueprints. So as we start scanning things, we've got to build the scanner. As you start scanning things, you learn to be able to research them, and various different things. And it's actually asking me to learn it now. So we get this scanner, and this is the thing we're about to build. So let's learn the scanner. As we scan things, it gives you more opportunities in the research station to research them, and then you're using the fabricator or there's an airship builder. Got to craft the scanner. The other thing I probably should mention for this particular part, right? The machine parts, we can actually learn to make the machine parts. If you're down to your last part and you haven't researched it, you want to research it, because you can then use the base materials like synthetics and metals to then craft machine parts. So whenever you come across stuff like that, make sure you learn one. And we can actually see now the immunity. I'm actually going down because I need food, I need water, and my immunity is now dropping. And so, for example, if it started raining right now and my immunity was low, I could actually contract an illness. But for now, what I really want is this. And seeing as I should do what I just said, I'm going to learn the machine parts. We have water purifier, just chuck it on the wall. The bottle we got earlier ends up having 5 slots, so we just put 5 of dirty water in, and we can purify it. The other thing that I really want is an electric cooker. get that going. Because once this thing raises up, rather than eating the raw materials now, I really should get around to cooking stuff. As it removes that immunity loss and any of the hurt. Dust lettuce. So here, yeah, dust lettuce. So at the moment with that minus 15 immunity, we can remove that part if we actually boil the dust lettuce. We've got our cooker. What I do want to do, and it's a really strange thing to do, right? Well, we've got to wait for the water. But the melon hurts to eat, but you can boil the melon. Can you imagine that? Getting something like a rock melon or a honeydew, or even a pawpaw or something like that, even a watermelon, and you boil it. Yeah. I kind of wish there was more cooking style stations, not just boiling, but grilling and ovens and things like that, to just sort of flesh out that side of things. I get that it's got an early access and they've probably got other things they're interested in doing first, but I really do hope they expand that side of it, as there's an opportunity to really get that one in depth. And the other one that we're going to experience more and more of it over time, but I really wish, like at the moment the research station isn't too bad. Like each individual thing will have required parts that you need to research it, and so these can be actually quite in depth, where you might need 4 or 5 different things to do the research. But for some of the crafting and the virus analysis stuff, I wish it was more in depth. You tend to only need 1 or 2 items to craft the things that will resolve viruses, and I'd like to see them a lot more. Let's go. We should probably craft a scanner. Get that going.
Printing completed.
Okay, we've got our scanner. Beautiful.
Detected new objects requiring
There we go.
scanning.
It just finished. Let's just grab that. Grab that. So we're going to eat the melons. We now get 20 food, 20 water, and 5 health. So that's a lot more than what it was before. And that's actually resolved our problem. It's now flicked around the other way, and our immunity is now growing. What I will do is I'll pop the dust lettuce in there. Drink once. Boil that away. Alright. Going to need to make another bottle. Let's just scan everything here. Now with the scanning, what you'll end up doing is having a look in the menu under studies. We're currently in the communication facility ruins. The only thing in terms of the progress of scanning stuff, it will list out all the things you need to scan. And at the moment we need to scan a synthetics cluster. And you sort of got that AI lady in the background sort of talking to you about the things that you need to do. And this is the thing that she's talking about. If it would stop... oh my goodness, this is getting frustrating. And here we go. This one should work. There we go. You can see we've got a whole bunch of new research options. And so when we actually look in the research thing here, this is now expanded, and I can get the engine and fuel, which is the thing that it wants me to do. So I'm going to go and grab that. But there are other things here we can scan, like the people. It gives you a little bit of a blurb to basically say, okay, we've got the engineer's lost body.
Research finalized.
Oh, I got interrupted there. At any rate, we should probably scan a few more things. It doesn't really give you any progress towards what's going on here. We can see this is now completed. There's nothing left for me to scan. And as we find new communication points and wind farms and all the rest of it, you'll get different things to scan. And you'll find different variants. So there's different variants of these communication ruins. And they will add new things to the list that will tell you what it is you need to find. So you do actually have a little bit of help with the AI lady that's really sort of giving you what you need to know. Okay, let's just see whether we're got enough stuff here. We've got our engine, and we're going to want some fuel. Don't need machine parts. I think we're pretty good for a lot of that stuff, but let's get some fuel on the go. We'll grab our water and we start purifying,
Printing completed.
and we might as well get something else to eat. Why not? Right. Water-wise, we'll get another condenser. And then the engine, you can't place it on the back here. Once we get the builder tool for the thing, we can put a wall on the back. But for now, you're kind of restricted to this little outer edge of a lip. I probably can put it on the side like that. You can sort of see it's still pointing backwards and things like that. So maybe we'll do that. We'll plonk it there. That way we can access it as we need it. Alright. Raise the lure. And we put our fuel in there. We can now depart. Hey, we got a dust moth. Alright, lure's gone. We've used all of it. You only get 3 in that little basic one. And so here we lose a lot of immunity if we eat a dust moth by itself, but we can boil it away. And again, like, who boils a moth? I get it's big, But why can't we, like, grill it or bake it or something, you know? Get a few different recipes going. I think we are sorted here. I could go and grab some extra water from the little buckets, but I don't think I really need to worry too much. So, we might as well move on. Okay, you can fly up, you can fly down, shift and control, all the controls are kind of there in front of you. The maximum altitude we have right now is 230, so we can't go any higher. We can go lower, but once you get down to about 220, you start entering the dust, and so you don't actually want to do that. We're going to go for those flashing lights in a moment. As I said, we can cause some of these buildings to fall down a bit, so I'll show that off. You get your deck extractor, and we harvest the metals in the buildings. And that one didn't fall over. How about you? You'll fall over, right?
Hydration level is
Hey, there he goes. It's the kind of thing, if there was any survivors in these buildings, or even in the underdust, you're just crushing these buildings on top of them. Alright. We've got our dust moth. We'll eat it. Gives us a nice big bit of food. And we can get lots and lots of water. We've got our membrane. We get more water going. And we're just onto our usual survival tasks. But for now, let's start looking into what these flashing lights are and the progress of the game itself. You can actually see there's something there to look at. Everything that's so far in the game that actually has some, I guess, meaning, they've coloured it red, and it really kind of stands out. It's quite good in that regard. Right.
Uncharted area. The preliminary analysis started.
Preliminary analysis started. Now, this is what I was talking about with the AI lady telling you a bit about what you need to do.
Detected new objects requiring scanning.
We are now on a radio tower variant, and we need to find scrap. We need to find the basic turbine, which is pretty obvious, it's just right there, and we also need to find the electrical elements, which, you know, scan that and we get ourselves our turbine. That's going to give us our extra height. We've got ourselves some electrical elements. I could have scanned that, but it should have completed it anyway, just by picking it up. And on we go. Might as well scan that. Get it out of the way. Here's our plastics. Don't need to scan it now that I've picked it up. Yep. Plastics is another one of those things where if you find it, just pick it up. The items later on that use plastic tend to use quite a lot of plastic, and as a result, crafting it from the basic synthetics does start burning your materials like crazy. So it's always a good idea to pick up plastics, even if you've got like 25, 50 of them lying around. Don't be skimpy about picking them up. Just grab them. Alright, let's get back down. We've got our battery. We've scanned a few items, but there should be some more interesting stuff. Surely. Okay, there's an even lower section. I don't know that there's anything down there at the moment. Let's grab some more plastics. Oh, really? Why have I got one of those things here? Now, this is actually not that good, because if he hits me, I'll get some kind of a virus. Just make sure there's nothing else lying around. There's more plastics over there. Okay, I want that. So yeah, this critter here. It's a crustpede. Yeah. They actually give you really good food if you can kill them. I don't have the knife and I don't have the crossbow yet to take that down. But they give you some really nice stuff. He's right there. I wonder if I can run through. You're going to bite me and I'm going to get... I've forgotten which one it is. It's the one that hurts your energy, though.
The immune system has dealt with viral infection.
Immune system got me good. Nice. You heard there that basically the immune system dealt with the virus. So I got bitten, but it wasn't enough to actually give me the bad stuff. I can't tell if that's got anything in it. There's a data pad in the end one. You suck. Ow. Stop it. I guess, I just go in and take the bites and grab the stuff, right? Okay, there we go. We made it. That's a bit rude of them to put the creature in the very first place. Unless I went to the wrong one. I mean, it's always a possibility, I guess. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Alright, so we're at another communication point. Let's have a quick look in here. There's nothing in the variant, so that while there's obviously things to collect here, there won't actually be anything new to learn. It's asking me in terms of my quests to go to a double flashing light. You can kind of see one over there. It's a little double point. There was a second one. I can't see it now. There's that one there, so it's possibly back in the direction that I came from. There is a second way to go, kind of over that way. Can't see it at the moment because it's too dusty. Once we get a little bit higher, we might be able to get a clearer view. But I've got to get enough materials now to build a turbine, and we'll go from there. Alright, let's just get up and grab the battery. Hopefully there's no little rotten creature in the room this time, and I can just get whatever I want out of it. The map is fairly static, so even though it's an open world, well, somewhat open world, the map appears to be somewhat fixed. And yeah, if you go to the same place, you'll end up getting, like, in each playthrough, if you go a particular direction, you should end up finding the same things each time. Or at least I haven't experimented too far with that, but that's been my experience. So, oh, you rotten things! Been my experience so far. Whoa. What was that noise? Joint Project Oxygen. Oh, we'll grab that. What are you guarding, fella? Some machine parts. Can't see in there. That's fine. Grab that. Some synthetic fuel. There's a repair patch there. Repair patches, last time I played, there was a lot of them. But it didn't seem 100% necessary to have heaps of them. We want those electrical parts. Are you going to bite me again here? What do we got? What are we missing? Electrical components, which I definitely want. Oh, get out of it. Whew, that hurt. Okay. My immunity is dropping from my injury. But that's okay. It's okay. Don't want to be out in the rain with the immunity dropping. We're going to get a illness. I want to showcase the illnesses later. I don't want to get them right now because I'm not really set up for dealing with them. Transformer. Doesn't need a transformer. Okay, airship builder it is. Second poster on the roof. Okay. Expand the ship a little bit. We need to add a new room. We might as well add it directly off the back. Blocked by equipment. Is going to be the stuff on the ground. So, pop our engine back on. Float up a bit. And pop a room on the back. Ah, space. Nice. And we should build a wall. Alright, so pop a wall on the back, just like that. Now, we have to build a turbine. Turbine needs electrical components. Are you kidding me? Okay, let's have a look. There's one that way, and there's some lights that way. So we might head to these points and see what we can see. Okay, we got an extra. There they are. Whew. Okay, we need machine parts, which we have plenty of. We can now finally get a turbine. Turbine is critical because to be able to actually get to the double tower, you actually have to get higher up. And the only way to get higher up is to basically put a turbine on. So pop a bit of stuff out here so we can actually walk around a little bit. I won't worry about outfitting the ship too much yet. I kind of want to get a little bit progressed before I go too far. but we will run out of space, and so I'll have to expand before long. Isotonic drinks, they're great. Basically, when you get the virus from the crust bead, I've forgotten the name of the virus, but if you get that one, you can't sleep, and so you die if you run out of energy. So while you're waiting for the virus to pass, things like the isotonic drinks give you energy, which is crucial for that, and keeps you alive. Are you going to let me put you on there? Blocked.
Maximum flight altitude
It'll do.
decrease.
Looks ugly as sin, but it will give us what we want. So if I swing around, we can see lots more now. It's really nice. That's where we came from. But that's weird. I thought there was a second double point. They must... Did I just not see it properly? It's always been in there in past playthroughs. Yeah. It probably is there and I've just overlooked it and gone in one direction, and that's been the end of it. Okay, we are going to go land over there, but I'm actually going to go and get something first. There's a spare one of these funny looking things over there, waiting to be harvested. All white
Storm
lonesome.
is coming.
Oh, and a storm's coming. So we got to quickly harvest that. Got it. Get ourselves some copper, and then we're going down. We'll go down to about 220. Just need to be lower than the buildings around us. And we don't want to go lower than 220 because we'll start taking damage from the dust.
Lightning strikes the highest targets. Lower altitude or seek cover.
I suppose I could try expanding the ship while I wait. If we have a look at the top right hand corner now, we can actually see that we're at 424 of 500. So if I keep expanding this, if I keep putting stuff on, we're eventually going to get to the capacity of the ship. But thankfully in the research, and I don't actually have it yet, we're about to expand it very, very soon. Another section of the research station will open up momentarily. I think it's once I get the hydrogen that's hiding on this platform up here. And the hydrogen will allow me to expand the airship balloon or add another balloon to the ship. And so we can end up getting quite a decent sized ship once we get those things. But for now, we're just waiting out this storm. I'll finish things up here for now and just say a few closing things. I'm really enjoying Forever Skies as it's quite fun to play. It really is quite a bit of a chill game at this point in time. But what I would love to see is all of the crafting and story elements get expanded on. More complexity and depth so that it really feels like you're in that futuristic scientific space. And you'll get to see, I guess, a bit more of it in the next episodes, where I'll get to explore some of the viral infections and acquire more tiers of crafting, but even then a lot of those look like they could use a lot more complexity too. At any rate, I hope you enjoyed things so far, and make sure you go ahead and chuck me a like and a subscribe while you're looking out for that next episode coming soon.